There's one thing I still can't explain. It happened on a Thursday night, deep in the woods of upstate New York. When something out there said my name, what I'm about to tell you isn't a ghost story. It's not a campfire legend. It's what actually happened to me, my brother, and his college roommate the night we realized we were never alone out there. This was October 2022. My brother Caleb had been talking about this camping trip for months. He'd found this trail, Ridgeback Loop, out in the Catskills, about 4 hours north of the city. No phone signal. No other campers registered for that weekend. Just us and about 12 miles of untouched forest. His roommate Marcus came along. I'd only met him twice before. Quiet guy, observant, the kind of person who notices things other people don't. We got there around 2 in the afternoon. Sun was still out. Smell of pine everywhere. Honestly, it felt peaceful. We set up camp near a flat clearing, maybe 30 feet from a small stream. Built a fire pit. Had food, had gear, had no reason to be worried. Everything was fine. Until Marcus stopped walking and just stood there. "Hey," he said quietly. "Do you guys hear that?" Caleb and I stopped. We listened. And that's when we noticed it. No birds. Not one. The whole forest had just gone quiet. Caleb shrugged it off, said it was probably just the temperature dropping. I didn't say anything. But Marcus kept staring into the trees for a long moment before he finally turned around. By 9 o'clock, the temperature had dropped hard. We were sitting around the fire, talking about nothing in particular. Old stories, bad jokes, the kind of stuff you talk about when you're trying not to think about how far from civilization you actually are. Around 10:30, Marcus went quiet. Not in a tired way, in a listening way. A branch broke somewhere in the woods. One clean snap. Caleb looked at me. I looked at him. "Deer," Caleb said. We waited, then another one. Closer, I grabbed my flashlight and pointed it toward the sound. The beam disappeared into the dark, about 20 feet in. Beyond that, nothing, just black, no eyes reflecting back, no movement, no sound. Marcus leaned forward and said, very calmly, "Whatever that is, it stopped moving when we shined the light," and he was right. A deer doesn't stop for a flashlight. A deer runs. I kept the light pointed out there. And that's when I saw it. Not clearly, not dramatically, just a shape. Between 2 trees, maybe 40 feet out. The darkness was just slightly darker in one spot, like something was standing there. Something tall. I blinked. It was gone. I didn't say anything to the others. Maybe I didn't want to believe it myself. We stayed by the fire another hour, barely talking. Then we went inside the tents. Marcus and I were sharing a tent. Caleb had his own. I lay there, staring at the ceiling, for probably an hour. Marcus wasn't asleep either. I could tell by his breathing. Neither of us said anything. Then at some point, maybe 1 a.m., I started to drift off. And that's when it started. Footsteps, right outside. Slow and even. Not panicked, not random, like someone taking a casual walk. Around our tent. I stopped breathing. Marcus grabbed my arm in the dark. He'd heard it too. The footsteps went around one side, paused at the back, then continued around the other side. One full circle. Then they stopped. Right outside the door. And then I heard breathing. Low and slow. Right on the other side of the nylon. Less than a foot from my face. I could not move. I physically could not move. Marcus's grip on my arm tightened. We stayed like that for what felt like forever. And then the footsteps slowly started up again. And gradually faded away into the woods. We didn't sleep after that. When dawn finally came, we got out of the tent. Caleb was already up. He looked at us and immediately knew something was wrong. We told him what happened. He didn't brush it off, this time. And then Marcus pointed at the ground, in the soft mud, around our tent, footprints, bare feet. Human, large, bigger than any of us. They circled our tent, once, completely, and stopped right at the entrance, and here's the thing that made my stomach drop. There was no trail leading away. No second set of prints going back into the woods. They just ended, like whatever made them cease to exist, right there. Caleb pulled up the tent stakes without a word. We packed in under 10 minutes and started walking back to the trailhead. None of us spoke for the first mile. We stopped at a little roadside diner, about 20 minutes from the trailhead. Coffee, food, normal people around us. An older guy was sitting at the counter, flannel shirt, work boots, clearly local. Caleb mentioned we'd been camping up at Ridgeback Loop. The old man set his mug down. "Ridgeback?" he said. "Which section?" Caleb described the clearing near the stream. The old man nodded, slowly. Then he said, "There was a man came into town last night, just before midnight. Came out of those woods on foot, no gear, no car. Said he'd been hiking, and something ran him out of there. Saeed, there were 3 people in the woods, calling his name." Over and over, we looked at each other. We hadn't called anyone's name. We hadn't spoken above a whisper, after 10 o'clock. So if that man heard 3 people calling for him, who was doing the calling? And more importantly, what was walking around our tent? I've never gone back to Ridgeback Loop. Caleb sold his camping gear 6 months later, never said why. Marcus doesn't talk about it, but I want to leave you with one more thing. When we got home that Sunday, I went through the photos from that trip. There's one from around 9 o'clock that night. We're sitting around the campfire. All 3 of us are in frame. Caleb took it on a timer. If you look at the tree line, in the background, there are 4 silhouettes, not 3. 4, and the 4th one is facing the camera. We never figured out who that was. But whatever it was watching us. The whole time. If you're planning a camping trip this fall, just remember, quiet forests aren't always empty ones.